So now Democrats who are to the right of the squad, as they're called, and there are plenty of Democrats who are to the right of this group, are in a bit of a box. Which road do they go down? Do they side with the squad and defend them? Or do they try to win back those folks in the middle who were put off by elitism and turned to Donald Trump? A big political lineup tonight to take a deep dive into all of this. We've got Mark Thiessen and Richard Fowler standing by. But first, Corey Lewandowski, former Trump campaign manager, Brooke Goldstein, human rights lawyer and founder of and executive director of the Lawfare Project, and Jammu Green, former candidate for DNC chair and a Fox News contributor. Great to have all of you with us. Let's jump right in here. Jammu, your reaction to the president's attempt today to kind of dial back the send her home chant from last night.
It's about time. I think we all recognized, or all decent people in this country recognized, when he first tweeted to U.S. citizens for them to go back home, that, you know, there was a line that had been crossed in an administration where so many other lines have been crossed. So this is a good step in the right direction. But we also have a president who, and Corey knows this well, he is so good, you know, on the fly. He was on that stage and he had a chance to speak to the world, to speak to our citizens about American values and shut that chant down, and he didn't. So I think we've seen a really clear glimpse into the president's heart, and he's perhaps looking at polls that are driving some of this, taking a step back.
I think, you know, Corey, what do you say to that? I mean, the president said, oh, I quickly jumped in and started talking, but it took a while. And I think a lot of us who were watching it last night were sort of hoping that he would jump in.
You know, Martha, what we saw today was the president come out and say he didn't support what those people in the arena was saying last night. But as you know, there has been a very significant double standard as it relates to what Democrats on the left have said and what the censure or lack of censure from the House has happened to these individuals. These four members of Congress have gone out and chastised individual members of Congress who support Israel by saying things like it's all about the Benjamins, clearly a pejorative term against the Jewish community. We've seen them make racist comments in the past, these four particular individuals. And what the president has said is what the American people believe, which is if you don't love this country, you can leave Congress. You can go back to somewhere else, because in places like South Dakota and Wisconsin and Michigan, they don't believe in the rhetoric that these four particular individuals are saying. And that's why even Nancy Pelosi has seemed like the rational one so far.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's at the heart of this debate. And Brooke, you know, when you look at what Omar is supporting in terms of boycotting, you know, Israel, essentially, you know, that is something that a lot of members of Congress are outraged by, and a lot of Democrats are outraged by.
Right, and I want to be very clear. What Omar and her cohorts are supporting in the so-called BDS movement is not the boycott of Israel. It's the targeting of American Jews and Israeli Jews. What the BDS movement says and what they're advocating for is a commercial boycott against Israeli Jews, not Israeli Muslims, not Israeli Christians, but the targeting of Jews and using politics as some sort of affirmative defense. And I think the shame here is that what's lost in this fake outrage over Trump's comments is that the real racists here, really the modern day Nazis, are getting away with murder. They took an opportunity, and Omar took the opportunity to try and insert a resolution. This is a lawmaker calling for the boycott of the Jewish people and claiming that Trump is the real racist.
Jammu, what do you say to that?
Well, first, I want to refer to Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. I think that it is important to remember that she is a duly elected representative of our government and deserves more respect than we've seen the commentary around these issues. Now, look, this is
she
America,
works for
right?
Us. She works for the American people, right? And she is advocating for illegal discrimination against Jews as a lawmaker.
We have certain values that we've got freedom of expression in this country.
And they are not illegal discrimination.
Let Jammu respond, Brooke.
We've got very important values that have come under attack from this administration. And I think a lot of people are saying, wait a second, when did it become wrong for a member of Congress to critique a policy that she gets to vote on as far
but by the same
as
token, Jamo, it is,
aid that we give to Israel.
But by the same token, Jamo, Americans also have the right to say that they disagree with her on these issues, that they think that the way she speaks about this is anti-Semitic.
No.
So
disagree, yes. Go back, no. And
I think there's broad agreement on that.
Our colleague Mo on Special Report earlier talk about how many times he's been told to go back. I was born in Washington, D.C. I've been told to go back to, Washington, D.C. This should not be coming from the president. Congress people should not be held to a higher standard than the president. That's why I'm so confused with Republicans holding
by the
Congress
same
people
token,
to a higher
I want you to jump in here. By the same token, you have to look back at what these individual Congresswomen have said, and they need to be held to account for it as well. This is a free country. If you disagree with them, you are allowed to speak your mind about it. Corey?
Look, this is the lack of leadership in the Democratic Party. When Steve King from Iowa made some incendiary remarks, they removed him from his committee assignments. The Republicans didn't. He has no committee assignments now. When the Democrats make incendiary remarks about the Jewish community or by calling our men and women who serve in uniform in the Customs and Border Agency, Nazis, they're continued to allow to serve on the Committee on Foreign Relations and other places of importance, and that should not be what we espouse our elected officials to be doing. You can disagree with them. That's outrageous to call those people Nazis.
Of this president, Corey, should mean that he should not be allowed to serve. Let's have that conversation.
So what about the
rhetoric of Joe Biden?
Then you have to guys. No one can understand any of you when you're all yelling.
Can you equally condemn it?
Guys, listen. No, the fact of the matter is that there are some people who feel the same way, Jamo, about what these congresswomen have said, that they should no longer serve. Now, that's the beauty of America. Everybody gets to vote and decide whether or not these individuals get sent back to serve in their offices. I got to go. Thank you very much.